Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Susie Say That. Today's topic is love me or hate me, because you can't have them both. You can't love me and then hate me. Love it, love is affection. It's a deep, deep affection that you have for me, that you love me, that you're not going to do anything outside of that love to hurt me. You'll hurt yourself first. That means that you'll deny your flesh presence to hurt me. You'll deny yourself that. You'll deny yourself. That's what love is. Hate is a feeling. It'll do whatever it wants to do. It's not going to deny its feeling. It wants to be active. It wants to fight back. It wants to lie. Whatever way it can get you back, it wants to do that. It wants to call your job. It wants to talk about you to people. It wants to do whatever it can do to make that hate it feels against itself, because that's where hate starts, against yourself. Whatever it feels against itself, it wants to get rid of it. So how does it get rid of? Hate reacts. It reacts. It does something in a reaction so that it can feel better, because it doesn't feel good within itself. You don't feel good, sister, brother. You don't. You don't feel great. When you're paying back people and doing all that evil toward them, you don't love yourself. And I heard people say, I love myself. You don't love yourself if you're hurting other people. Purposely hurting other people. Because we live in this broken, hopeless, sick world. So we're going to have times where we hurt each other. But it's not going to be malicious. It's not going to be vengeful. It's not going to be where I'm coming, I'm going to show her, I'm going to prove it. I've hurt people. And I've been disgusted by it. When I've heard them just want to get the, oh gosh, I've been around some people that's so hateful. And oh my gosh, I've seen people do some things. And at that time, I didn't quite understand why they were doing it. And I looked at this person that did something evil to one of their best friends. And I'm talking about when I was young. I was probably like 19 or 20. I seen this person do something rotten to their friend. And I said, why'd you? And I asked them, why'd you do that? I'm going to show her. I'm going to prove this to her. Oh, I'm going to get her. And they did it. And I learned some lessons then. I didn't take them with me, because if I had took them with me then, I would have learned some life lessons a long time ago. But the point is, I understood that person didn't love that person, but she swore to it that she did. Hey, sis, give me a hug. Give me a kiss. This is my bestie. This is my bestie. And she had did something rotten to her. It wasn't her bestie, but in her mind. Why? Because she did not love herself. When you love yourself, you're not coming out of yourself with hate against other people. You can't. Hate and love, they stay on the same street, but they cannot be in the same house. They can't be in the same house. You cannot be in the same house with someone that you say you love, but then you really hate. It's going to be divided. It's going to fall, because they can't stay together. Love. So either you're going to love me or you're going to hate me. And I'm okay with them both, because I love myself today. And because I love myself, I love God and I love people. So that don't even matter to me. And I'm just going to mention this quickly about a person that told me, and they said to me, they said, Susie, I had seen them in a long time. I had not seen them. And I seen them and they said, Susie, we have a love and hate relationship. I never knew that even existed between us. And I said, what? And they said, we have a love and a hate relationship. I said, no, I don't. But they didn't deny they did. They said, yeah, we do. And I said, no, we don't. Because I seen the enemy there. I seen that hate spirit there that's trying to get me to admit to something that's not true about my character. I said, no, we don't. And I was thinking to myself, girl, you done did so much rotten stuff to me and said so much rotten stuff, and then you're going to tell me that that I have this love and hate relationship that you have with me? And I asked her to, explain it, but she couldn't explain it. Then she started telling me about her lifestyle and what she had going on, this and that and the other, and I was just listening to her. And I said, but I don't hate you. I said, I do not hate you. I just want you to know that I don't hate you. And I just looked at her and just shook my head. But then she went on, and I was like, well, what you think about it? I said, I don't. I can't come in agreement with that. Because she was sharing some things with me, and I said, I can't come into agreement with that. She was trying to get me to come into something that I know God is against, and I would not come in agreement with her. And she went on and on. I let her go on and on and on, and then hey, she left and I left, and that was that. And I see her from time to time. I wave my hand at her, and that's that. But she tried to get me to come into agreement with something that doesn't exist in me. I don't love and hate people. And because I don't deal with you doesn't mean that I hate you. You're just not for my season. You're not for my life. And that's that. But I'm not sitting up here letting you think about you all day long, letting you go to bed with that thought with you in my mind, and I'm not dreaming about you, none of that kind of stuff, because I've surrendered everything to God about every situation. So I don't have hate in my heart. I don't have hate. And some of you will say, well, I love him like Christ. No, you don't. You're a liar. You don't love nobody like Christ. I remember when I was in counseling and I told someone that, I said, yeah, I love him like Christ. And they said, well, won't you sacrifice for that person? Won't you go on a fast for this person? I said, is that God asking me to go on a fast for this person? Because fasting, hey, that's what I do. I know how to fast. And they said, well, this is what you need to do. And then when they said that, I said, I said, I'm not going to be able to do that. That's what I said. I said, I'm not going to be able, when I thought about it and I came back to another session, I said, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm not going to be able to fast for that person. I don't love him like that. I don't. But they said, you said you was in love with him and you loved him in Christ and all this. And I was like, tell God that I made a mistake. I don't. I'm not going to be able to do that one. And then God showed me that I did not love the person. And I did not love myself. So how would I then be able to love this person, but I don't love myself? I was just starting to find out who I am. Who is Susie? Who is Susie Hill? Who is she? I was just trying to figure out my own stuff. And then here I hear this person telling me that God wants me to now fast for this person. Because I say I love them so much, so why don't I lay my life down and take on a fast for them? And I was like, I ain't doing that. How long is a fast? And they told me the fast was going to be until God say different. I said, oh no, I'm not going. See, I did not love them like Christ. That's why some of us need to quit saying this nonsense. I love them with the love of Christ. No, you don't, because you ain't willing to die to nothing for them. If you love someone like the love of Christ, honey, you willing to die for that. You willing to sacrifice for that. You willing to lay down your life for that thing so that thing can rise up and be saved. So we need to quit saying that. We don't love people like we say we love people. And we don't hate people like we say we hate people, or how people think that we hate them. And a lot of that is deception. The enemy will use people to tell people that you hate them, when in fact it's them the one that's carrying the hate. When a person loves themselves, there's no way, there's no hatred. They can't dwell in the same house. I'm either going to love you or I'm going to hate you. But what I won't do if I love you, because it's such a deep feeling and such a conviction, if you're doing somebody wrong, I won't hurt you. I can't. It doesn't allow me to hurt you. It doesn't allow me to get on the phone and talk about you and drag you and say things and then see you say, hey sis, give me a hug, I love you. If I give you a hug and say I love you, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I just mean it. I just love you. But you're not going to make me think that it can dwell in the same house, love and hate. It can dwell on the same street, but not in the same house. You can hate me or you can love me, but you can't have both. You can love me, but you can hate me, but you can't have both. They both can't dwell in the same house. That's like having evil and good in the same place, trying to build a relationship. Think about that, you all. It doesn't go together. It's impossible for those both to deal at the same time with each other and then have something healthy come out of it. Love and hate cannot dwell in the same house. They can dwell on the same street. They often do. But they can't dwell in the same house. So for you all that's going around saying you love this person, you love them with the love of Christ, you don't. And for you all that says, I love this person, oh, they're my favorite, I love them, and etc. You know, all those mushy words you use to bring the person into your side so that they won't notice that you really hate them. So you put up all these faces and all these disguises because you know you really don't love them. Because if you love them, why every time you get a chance, you're putting your mouth on them. And you know you do that. Some of y'all know y'all do it. The moment you get a chance, you put your mouth on them. You're saying all these bad things about them. This, that, and you go on and on and on. And then you get around them and you say, hey sis, hey bro, you know I love you. No, you don't. So stop just saying it. Stop saying it so that you can figure out, who are you? God, help me to love myself. That's what many of you all need to say. God, help me to love myself, because I don't. I have so much despise and so much hatred for that person. I heard somebody say, Susie don't like that person. And I said, that's not true. I don't have anything against that person. I don't like what the person did to me, but I don't have anything. I've forgiven that person. So stop saying that about me. I don't like certain people. No, that's just a lie. That's not true. I don't deal with that person. But you ain't seeing me sitting up there saying all kinds of bad stuff. I'll mention my life and I'll mention what they continue to do to me and the stuff they'll continue to say. But that doesn't mean I don't like them. They really don't like me. That's all that boils down to. But some of you all say, well, Susie don't like that person because I won't agree with that person, what that person is saying about me. Had this conversation with someone not too long ago. They said, well, you don't like, I said, but that's not true. I'm just letting you understand what this is. I want this person to stop because what they're doing is wrong. They're saying it's wrong. It's evil and they're doing it and it's wrong. So you don't want me to say if they're wrong about stuff, but this is pertaining to me. But you don't want me to say anything about it. But then you want to say I don't like them because I'm saying that what they're doing is wrong. See the difference? I can't dislike people. I love what Christ loved. And that's the rule of thumb when you're in a relationship with Christ. You got to love what he loved. He loves people. So we have to love people, but we don't have to deal with people's ideology. We don't have to deal with people's hatred for themselves. We don't have to deal with people's lifestyle. We don't have to agree with that because we love what Christ loved. And Christ loves love. He causes no hate. He doesn't hate. He loves. And in that love, there's protocol. You can't just go do what you want to do, live the life that you want to live. You're either going to love Christ or you're going to hate him. But you can't have them both. You can't love him and then hate the words that he speak about sin, hate the words that he speak about your life, hate the words that he speak about the world. Then you say you love him, but then you hate when he talk about those, when the Bible tells you those things are wrong, or when a pastor get in the pulpit and talk about those things, they just make you, you just sitting up there and you feeling some kind of way, you hate the pastor now. But you say, I love my pastor, but you hate what he's saying. Hate and love can dwell on the same street, but they can't dwell in the person. They can't dwell together. They're not friends. Hate and love is not friends. Hate is an enemy against love. Hate is an enemy against love because God first loved. God is love. And because we love God, we love you all. Right? That's the way it's supposed to go. So you just think about that as you go about your day. Hate and love cannot dwell in the same house, but they can dwell on the same street. Think about that. You're either going to love me or you're going to hate me. But you can't have them both. Remember that as you go about your day today, just ask yourself some questions about those people that you be running up talking about, I love you, and you know what, you be putting that backstabbing them every chance you get. I have a book that's going to come out. It's called Haters Are Your Best Friend. And then I have a chapter dedicated to backstabbing. That you backstab people when you talk about them, lie on them, gossip about them. You're backstabbing them because they don't know you're doing that. So you need to have a real conversation with yourself. Why are you doing it? And guess what? One time or another, we've all gossiped, lied, or whatever. But now it's the time to get it right because you got someone telling you, I know what that is. I've experienced it. I've dished it out before when I didn't know any better. Many, many years ago. Because I've been carrying this Bible thing and this God thing for a while now. I've been in the church most of my life. And I'm talking about young life. So I know a little bit of something. I may not know everything. And I don't claim to because I don't. But I know something about life because I've lived a life. And I did some things. And I've had to come back and make things right with a lot of people. And I did that. I did that years and years ago when God told me, you don't love like you say you love. And I hurt someone and they told me, and I knew I hurt them. And I came back to them and I apologized. And I said, I'm so sorry. Forgive me, but I'll never do that again. They said, I understand why you did it. I understand. And I said, yeah, but it still was wrong. I did that in my life. I mean, one time I called all the people that I was close to and I apologized for anything I could have said and done to them. Every one of them, I said, have I hurt you? I've said this before in another video. Have I hurt you? And one person said, yeah, you said all kind of stuff. And they did all kind of stuff, but I didn't care. I said, okay, well, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'll never do it again. I never did it again. Because I want to love. I have a need to love as Christ loved. I can't be Christ, but I can use the love tool that he gave me to love. I can use that tool. It's not going to be him, but it's a tool that he gave me that I can use to love people and not hate people and not do harm to people and not cause harm on other people. I don't want to do that, and I don't do it. I purposely govern myself to love with the tool that Christ gave me to love. I don't want to ever hate someone. That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of bad. Hate will send you down a spiral. It will send you down a spiral. But I understand it, because when you hate yourself, it's impossible to love what is right. It's impossible to do what is right. And you can't love Christ. And I hear people say all the time, I love Christ, but you hate yourself. How? That don't go together. You can't hate yourself, despise yourself, do things bad to yourself, and then love a loving God. You can't. Hate and love will dwell on the same street, but they can't dwell in the same house. You can't love God and then hate the things of God. God and love and the things that he does, they're all one component. They're not discombobulated. They're not everywhere. They're together. Hate is discombobulated because it never knows what it wants to do, because it's hate, right? So you just think about that as you go about your day. Do you really love? Love and hate cannot dwell in the same place. Or do you hide behind, sis, I love you, bro, I love you, and really you can't stand those people? And it's because you ain't dealt with yourself. So seek, you know how I feel about counseling. I love me counseling and therapy. Seek you some of that. And if you don't want to, pray to your God earnestly. That means all the time, because if you do, he will send you someone that'll be ready and prepared to deal with the upside down of your love and hate stuff. Okay? Till next time.